Hello, 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 hello. Thank you for coming back to my channel today, or thank you for coming for the first time if you're new. Welcome to the third and final part of my little random facts series. I think it's always helpful to know a few random facts. You never know what situation you're going to be in where you might need some. So I've got some more here for you. Like I've said before, I have a couple other videos. This will be part 3, so if you want to see part 1 and 2, go check them out. These facts are the most interesting ones I think I've read so far. So I'll also have a link to all the facts in the description box for you to take a look at. So without further ado, let's read some facts, shall we? Alright, baseball umpires used to sit in rocking chairs. People have been playing baseball since the mid-19th century. In the early games, umpires would officiate the games reclining in a rocking chair that was located 20 feet behind home plate. By 1878, the National League also declared that home teams must pay umpires $5 per game. The first commercial passenger flight lasted only 23 minutes. These fun facts really get you thinking about how far we've come. Taking a 23-minute flight might seem like a waste of time today, but in 1914, Abram Field paid $400, which would be $8,500 today, for a 23-minute long plane ride. He flew between St. Petersburg, Florida, and Tampa, Florida, where only 21 miles of water separate the cities. Field, a former mayor of St. Petersburg, and the pilot, Tony Jannus, were the only passengers. This momentous flight paved the way for air travel as we know it. Interesting. The world's first novel ends mid-sentence. The Tale of Genji, written by Murasaki Shikibu in the 11th century, is considered the world's first novel. After reading 54 intricately crafted chapters, the reader is stopped abruptly mid-sentence. One translator believes the work is complete as is, but another says we're missing a few more pages of the story. If you've never read The Tale of Genji, don't worry. Probably most of us have not. The French language Scrabble world champion doesn't speak French. New Zealand native Nigel Richards memorized the entire French Scrabble dictionary, which has 386,000 words. In 9 weeks, he memorized it to earn his title. He has also won the English World Scrabble Championship 3 times, the US National Championships 5 times, and the UK Open Scrabble Tournament 6 times. This comes 20 years after first playing Scrabble when Richards was 28 years old. A woman called the police when her ice cream didn't have enough sprinkles. Okay. The West Midlands Police in England released a recording of a woman who called 999, the UK version of 911, because there were bits on one side and none on the other, she says in the recording. She was even more upset when the ice cream truck man did not want to give her money back. Uncle Ben's rice was airdropped to World War II troops. German chemist Erich Husenlob invented a process of parboiling rice to keep more nutrients in the rice and lessen the cooking time. The Husenlob process had another unexpected benefit too. It stopped bug infestations. The quick cook bug-free rice was a big advantage during World War II, and converted rice, as it was then known, was airdropped to the American and British troops. After the war, the company rebranded to Uncle Ben's original converted brand rice, named after one of the company's best rice suppliers, and the product hit the shelves in 1947. The British Empire was the largest empire in world history. According to the World Atlas, an empire is a group of nations or people that are under the rule of a powerful government or an emperor of a territory usually larger than a kingdom. The British Empire was most powerful in the 1920s when it ruled over 23% of the world's population. Wow. That equates to about 13 million square miles. South American river turtles talk in their eggs. Huh? Turtles don't have vocal cords and their ears are internal. So scientists believed that turtles were deaf and didn't communicate through sounds. However, research has found that turtles actually communicate at an extremely low frequency that sounds like clicks, clucks, and hoots that can only be heard through a hydrophone, a microphone used underwater. These sounds even come from the egg before the turtle hatches. Researchers hypothesize that this helps all the turtle siblings hatch at once. That's wholesome. Penicillin was first called mold juice. Alexander Fleming was one of those quirky scientists who accidentally made a scientific breakthrough. In 1928, the bacteriologist left a petri dish in his lab while he was on vacation, only to return and find that some liquid around the mold had killed the bacteria in the dish. This became the world's first antibiotic. But before naming it penicillin, he called it mold juice. The first stroller was pulled by a goat. This is one of the many interesting facts that had us scratching our head. Or a dog or a miniature horse, but not by parents. William Kent, a landscape architect, invented the first stroller for the 3rd Duke of Devonshire in 1733. By the mid-18th century, strollers were still pretty unstable, but they had handles so parents, not animals, could pull the baby behind them. May 20th, 1873 is the birthday of blue jeans. According to the Levi Strauss website, this was the day that Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis, the innovators behind the sturdy blue jeans we all love, got a patent on the process of adding metal rivets to men's denim work pants for the first time in history. The pants were called waist overalls until 1960, when baby boomers began calling them jeans. 170-year-old bottles of champagne were found at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. The bottles of bubbly are estimated to have been traveling from Germany to Russia during the 1800s when they sank to the bottom of the sea, says a new scientist. Turns out that the bottom of the sea, where temps are between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius, is a great place for wine aging. Oenologists, people who study wine and winemaking, sampled the champagne and described it as sometimes cheesy with animal notes and that it had elements of wet hair. We'll pass on that. The MGM Lion Roar is trademarked. At the start of any movie made by the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer studio, there's the iconic lion that roars at the audience. While MGM has gone through several iterations of lion mascots, the sound of the roar is always the same. The company trademarked the sound mark with the United States Patent and Trademark Office in the 80s. Neil Armstrong's hair was sold in 2004 for $3,000. The lucky buyer, John Resnikoff, holds the Guinness World Record for the largest collection of hair from historical celebrities, reports NBC. The not-so-lucky barber, Mark Sizemore, who cut Armstrong's hair, received threats of being sued by Armstrong's lawyers who said he violated an Ohio law that protects the rights of famous people. Sizemore said he wouldn't pay, and Resnikoff said he wouldn't give back the hair, but that he'd donate $3,000 to charity. Irish bars used to be closed on St. Patrick's Day. You might associate St. Patrick's Day with wearing green and drinking so much you think you actually see leprechauns. However, until 1961, there were laws in Ireland that banned bars to be opened on March 17th. Since the holiday falls during the period of Lent in the heavily Catholic country, the idea of binge drinking seemed a bit immoral. Nikola Tesla hated pearls. Tesla was a European electrical engineer who paved the way for current system generators and motors. The way electricity gets transmitted and converted to mechanical power is thanks to his inventions. However, despite experimenting with electricity, he despised being in the presence of pearls. One day, when his secretary wore pearl jewelry, he made her go home. Thomas Edison is the reason you love cat videos. Thanks to Edison's invention of the kinetograph in 1892, he was able to record and watch moving images for the first time. He filmed short clips in his studio named Black Maria. Some of his shorts feature famous people like Annie Oakley and Buffalo Bill, but the real stars are the boxing cats. Interesting. Brad Pitt suffered an ironic injury on a film set. During Pitt's prime acting career, he filmed Troy, based on Homer's Iliad. He played the brave and buff Greek hero Achilles. Legend has it that Achilles could not be defeated unless hit in his Achilles heel. While filming an epic battle scene, Pitt ironically hurt his Achilles tendon that put him back 2 months. Pregnancy tests date back to 1350 BCE. based on an ancient papyrus document. Egyptian women urinated on wheat and barley seeds to determine if they were pregnant or not, according to the Office of History in the National Institutes of Health. If wheat grew, it predicted a female baby. If barley grew, it predicted a male baby. The woman was not pregnant if nothing grew. Experimenting with this seed theory in 1963 proved it was accurate 70% of the time. Interesting. Martin Luther King Jr. got a C in public speaking. Everyone remembers Dr. King as a leader of the civil rights movement and often quotes his "I Have a Dream" speech that he delivered in 1963. However, over a decade before his legendary speech, while attending Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania, he earned a C in public speaking during his first and second term. Bad grades don't change anything about how inspirational he was. Bananas glow blue under black lights. To the everyday eye under normal conditions, ripe bananas appear yellow due to organic pigments called carotenoids. When bananas ripen, chlorophyll begins to break down. This pigment is the element that makes bananas glow or fluoresce under UV lights and appear blue. Bees can make colored honey. In France, there's a biogas plant that manages waste from a Mars chocolate factory where M&Ms are made. Beekeepers nearby noticed that their bees were making unnatural shades of green and blue honey, reported BBC. A spokesperson from the British Beekeepers Association predicted the bees eating the sugary M&M waste caused the colored honey. Wimbledon tennis balls are kept at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature of tennis balls affects how the ball bounces. At warmer temperatures, the gas molecules inside the ball expand, making the ball bounce higher. A tennis ball at lower temperatures causes the molecules to shrink and the ball bounces lower. To make sure the tennis balls are used, Wimbledon goes through over 50,000 tennis balls. Adult cats are lactose intolerant. Feeding your cat milk could make them sick. Like some humans, adult cats don't have enough of the lactase enzyme to digest lactose from milk, causing them to vomit, have diarrhea, or get gassy. Cats only have enough of that enzyme when they're born and during the early years of their life. Interesting. Albert Einstein's eyeballs are in New York City. They were given to Henry Abrams and preserved in a safety deposit box. Abrams was Einstein's eye doctor. He received the eyeballs from Thomas Harvey, the man who performed the autopsy on Einstein and illegally took the scientist's brain for himself. Wow. The Pope can't be an organ donor. Pope Benedict was issued an organ donor card in 1970. Once he ascended to the papacy in 2005, the card was invalid, reports The Telegraph. According to the Vatican, the Pope's entire body must be buried intact because his body belongs to the Universal Catholic Church. A one-armed player scored the winning goal in the first World Cup. Hector Castro played on the soccer team during the first ever World Cup in 1930. In the last game Between Uruguay versus Argentina, Castro scored the winning goal in the last minute of the game. The final score was 4-2, making Uruguay the first country to win the World Cup title. The world's oldest toy is a stick. Think of how versatile a stick is. You can use it to play fetch with your dog, swing it as a bat, or use your imagination to turn it into a lightsaber. Its adaptability, along with how old sticks are, is among the reasons why the National Toy Hall of Fame inducted the stick into its collection as possibly the oldest toy ever. And that was all the interesting facts. So I think those were really good compared to some that I've read before. They actually are interesting, and I like how they give a little story behind them. So let me know what you think, if you thought it was interesting or at least relaxing. I hope you somewhat enjoyed anyway. So thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you really soon.